Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Special guest in the studio. It's been a long time, pre-COVID, is that right?
Yeah.
It's been pre-COVID since we've been joined by Lindsey Stevenson. Lindsey, thank you so much, number one, for your time. Lindsey is a health and nutrition expert at the Missouri Extension Office. And Lindsey, while I know that we're calling this Live Well Month, it seems like you're pushing this to be more than a month. You want this to be an actual movement.
Oh, absolutely. So Living Well Month is all about, of course, living well, but also recognizing the work that family and consumer science professionals with cooperative extension do all year long to improve the lives of individuals, families, and communities.
I love the fact that you've been able to break this down into 8 distinct points that maybe we can concentrate on with our kids. I say this as a parent, and it's going to be helpful to myself as well. When it comes to talking to a younger generation and trying to reiterate those points to them, where do you think we start? Where's the top? Or maybe we start from the bottom and build that foundation. What do you prescribe?
Well, I think the best thing is to start small. I think a lot of times we dive in too deep, too quick, and we also forget areas of wellness. So we focus on the physical, but as we are talking about today, there's 8 dimensions. So there's a lot of different ways we can focus on our health that are not just exercising and eating right.
One of the things that's very difficult to talk about, yet has been taking center stage lately, is mental health. You're right. We talk so much. Hey, guess what? Breaking news. Exercise is going to help you live longer. Hey, guess what? Greens are good for you at the dinner table. When it comes to talking to mental health, what steps has the Missouri Extension Office been taking to have people open up about their feelings?
So we have human development and family specialists who have this training. It's called Mental Health First Aid, and it's for teens and adults, and it teaches people to recognize a mental health event like you would respond to a first aid event, like if someone fell and broke their ankle or cut their leg or something like that.
Have you seen this trickle down? Because you were talking about our health and consumer sciences, and I immediately think about the teachers that are probably around our children at some points, especially during the school year, more than the parents are. How are they adapting and adopting those mental health features into their classrooms?
I think some districts in our area have taken that mental health first aid training, and I'm sure they're utilizing a lot of the things they've learned from that class.
What interaction do you have as far as when you talk about people wanting to reach out to you? Are you seeing an increase in people interested in health? And the reason I specifically ask this is our habits changed so much during the past 2.5, 3 years with the pandemic. Are you seeing an increase of people saying, hey, I need to get back on this, I want to get back on this, or maybe this is my opportunity to turn a new leaf?
I've definitely seen people more interested in our virtual programming, especially one of our classes called Taking Care of You, which is all about stress management and taking care of yourself. You have to make sure you're well before you can give a lot of time and devotion to someone else.
Well, let's talk about that virtual class, if you don't mind me asking. What are some of the things that you try to reflect that, hey, this is the best, we've seen these outcomes work the best for people in this virtual class? Just kind of give me the quick elevator speech. What do you pass along?
Specifically about the Taking Care of You program?
Yes.
Oh.
I understand it's probably a very in-depth class. I understand that.
I would say the biggest takeaway for a lot of people is just learning how to reframe a situation. Maybe they looked at it one way at first, but then they took a step back and were able to see it with clearer eyes and were able to accept it and move on.
We get so lost in the weeds, though, because our 8 to 5s or whatever your work schedule may be, we get so myopic. How do you advise people to take that step back and take that 50,000-foot view?
It's just setting aside time for yourself without distractions, being mindful and being present.
One of the, we've got a second group of tips here on a full screen for you, and one thing that caught my eye was read, read, read. And it just so happens, and the reason I asked you this is a little self-serving, folks. I spent my entire weekend pretty much doing that. Why is that important?
Well, that's part of our intellectual wellness, which is one of the spokes on our wellness wheel. And if we look at all 8 dimensions of wellness like a wellness wheel, each one of them being a spoke, if one of those spokes isn't reaching the edge of the wheel, if it's closer to the center of the wheel, then our wheel isn't going to roll right. So all dimensions are important.
Take me through this wheel and the spokes. What are the other spokes that I need to identify?
All right, so we have physical, spiritual, social, emotional, intellectual, mental, environmental, and financial.
When you talk to your consumer science teachers, when you talk to people of the community, is there a spoke that you see us coming up short of more than the other spokes?
Well, first of all, I don't talk a lot with family and consumer science teachers.
How about just from your spot at the Missouri Extension office? Do you see a common theme as far as a spoke being shorted?
I would say we spend a lot of time on the physical, of course, and we're starting to spend more time in the mental. The financial gets some attention, but I think the rest of the spokes need some more attention.
Okay, now you've got me with like 18 different other questions. Can you stick around for a little bit?
I'll be here.
Okay, we're going to come back, and Lindsey and I are going to go through additional spokes, because now that you've said, hey, we're shorting everything, now I want to take a deeper dive into this. So please stick with us, and Lindsey will return here, and we'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.